All right, I'm going to ask you to be seated just for a moment, if you would. We're bringing the kids back in from junior church. I wanted to be preemptive this morning, if I could. I know that October is Pastor Appreciations Month, and I know that sooner or later Sam will call us up here and make a presentation on behalf of the church, and I'll say thank you then, but I didn't want to wait till then. I wanted to let you know how much of a privilege and honor I consider it to be your pastor, and the joy that you've given me to be able to do that, and to do that in serving with my son. It's hard for me to express how good that feels. I want you to know that we love you, we appreciate you, and we are so grateful that you've allowed us to be your pastors. Our family is in this place. The people we love, the people we care about, the people we admire and respect. And, you know, I tell you often, I said, you need to appreciate every day what God has given you. Every day you need to appreciate your spouse. Every day you need to appreciate your children. Every day you need to appreciate your grandchildren. You need to appreciate your parents if you still have them. You need to appreciate your brothers and sisters, and you need to appreciate your friends. Never, never, never take them for granted. Love them. Tell them. Show them. And on special occasions, celebrate big. When I say celebrate big, when you have your birthday or anniversary, that's what I'm talking about. Celebrate big. Don't take the people that God has blessed you with in your life for granted. Now, I learned that the hard way. When I was younger, I wasn't a very good husband. I wasn't a very good dad. I tried to do better the older I got, and I learned. But when Debbie died 5 years ago, I had a lot of regrets because I realized I had a lot of opportunities that I wasted. And I promised God at that time that I would not waste those opportunities that He gave me with my children and my grandchildren. And so I was content to live my life being the best dad and the best grandpa I could be. And I never thought that God would give me another chance to be a husband. But God is forgiving, gracious, God of the second chance, and the God of surprises. A couple of weeks ago, a lady in our church invited me over to her house for dinner. To eat dinner with her sister and brother-in-law who had come to our church and who were thinking about coming to our church. And she thought for some reason that if they got to know the pastor, it might sort of seal the deal for them. I don't know why she thought that, but that's what she thought. And so we had a nice dinner, and they're here this morning. Have been here ever since dinner. But something else unexpected happened that night. Being the kind of guy I am, when somebody invites me to dinner, I always like to return the kindness and invite them to dinner. And so I invited her for dinner, and then for a shake, and then for dinner, and then for lunch, and then for dinner, and then for dinner, and then for dinner, and with the exception of yesterday, we've spent a significant amount of time together every day for the past 12 days. Now, before you think I'm crazy, I want to tell you that we've known each other for 10 years. She's been coming to our church about that long. And I would say that we've admired each other from a distance. She's admired my pastoring. I've admired her Christian walk. I also admired her as a wife. When her husband went to heaven a couple of years ago, I spent many days with them in the hospital. And I watched the way that she loved him and cared for him, and the way that she was devoted to him. And I told the Lord, I didn't tell anybody else, but I said, Lord, if you ever give me another chance to be a husband, I'd be really pleased if you gave me a woman just like that. Little did I know that he would. Little did I know that it would be her. In the past 2 weeks, we've talked a lot. We've prayed a lot. And we have decided to love each other. We prayed for God's, now, and I say that to these two young guys right here because, I got to tell you, you look at Brother Ed Coleman back there and you say, well, what a hard guy. And yet he and Barb went together for 2 months before he proposed. What a Casanova. What a Casanova. Yeah. So we've talked, we prayed, we have decided. You don't fall into love, you decide to love. We've decided to love each other. We've asked for God's direction, and we think that He's given it. I have asked her to be my wife. And she, in an act of pure grace, unmerited favor, has said yes. So, Patty, would you come up here for a second, please? Go ahead and be seated. So we've talked, and we know it's just not a matter of her becoming my wife. We know that it's also a matter of her becoming a pastor's wife. Probably one of the hardest jobs in a church, to be a pastor's wife, but one that has great rewards and one that she has also consented to take on. So I'm happy to announce to you that we are getting married. Now, you can tell by how pretty she is that she's a lot younger woman than I am. But when God gives you something special and you want it with all your heart, and when you're as old as I am, you know it's not wise to wait too long. So not only is our courtship been short, so is our engagement. We're going to get married on Friday, November the 10th at 7:30 here at the church, and we would both be honored if you would come and be a part of the start of our life together. Oh, go ahead. Sit down.
Oh, here's a really good part.
Now, one more comment, and I'll let you go. Now, many of you feel that your pastor is cheap. I know that. I mean, I've had many people tell me, preacher, you know how to squeeze a nickel for all it's worth. I want you to know that I have spared no expense on Patty's engagement ring. It's got a rock the size of a small chicken egg on it. And if you ask her, she might show it to you. So, thank you again for letting me be your pastor. Thank you again for all the love that you've shown, not only in the month of October, but all the year long. And thank you for just being a wonderful, wonderful group of people. We're going to stand, have a word of prayer, and be dismissed. I think it's only fitting that I ask one of the true romantics in our church to dismiss us. And so, Brother Wayne, I'm going to ask you to dismiss us, please. Sir Sam, do you still want a minute? Okay, good. So, Brother Wayne, would you dismiss us, and we'll go back to the door. If you'd like to see Patty's ring, come back and she'll show it to you.